Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Low Budget Review Show. I am your host, Eric Smith. Today I'm talking about Marvel Zombies The Hunger by Marsheila Rockwell, and this is from Aconite. And look at that very cool cover. So, Marvel Zombies, first of all, I'm a fan. I got my Marvel Zombies t-shirt quilt back here. I've read 90% of the comic books. So I might be a little biased in this review, and there are other reasons for that as well we'll get to. But in this book, within the first 3 pages, a zombie virus has spread across the world, and a large number of superpowered individuals, both heroes and villains, have been infected with the zombie virus. And so, including Doctor Strange. So Doctor Strange's apprentice and librarian, Zelma Stanton, must form a team and try to stop the spread of the virus and maybe cure the people who are infected. I think that's the nutshell. All right. So, as I said, slightly biased here. The too long didn't watch is 4 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. I really liked it. I think it's a well-written, very exciting and horrific novel. Think The Walking Dead or Brian Keene's The Rising or Day of the Dead. Any zombie story with superpowers. So I'm slightly biased because I like the whole Marvel Zombies thing, and because the team that Zelma puts together includes Nico Minoru of The Runaways, a character I enjoy very much, Deadpool, and Elsa Bloodstone, a character I love. Huge fan of Elsa Bloodstone, so having her in this book just makes me very happy. Not giving anything away there. This is all in the back cover copy. So, Marsheila Rockwell starts the action right away, as I said, within 3 pages. Captain America's infected, and he's infecting everybody else, and Doctor Strange's is infected by page 3. And maybe page 4, but I think it's page 3. And this leads into Zelma Stanton getting involved and having to sort of take charge and put together this team, and the action moves very quickly. Marsheila Rockwell has very fast-paced writing style. I think she hits the character notes very well. If you're not familiar with any of these characters, you're going to get enough information and a little, is it character building? Since they've already been built, enough character information that they're not going to feel like strangers. You're not going to feel lost. I don't think you need to know anything about anything heading into this book. Of course, if you're like me, I think you'll get more enjoyment out of it if you're familiar with the Marvel Zombies and the characters here. But I don't think you need previous information. So, great character work. They felt like the characters from the comic book. I like that in Kelly Thompson's run of Deadpool, Elsa Bloodstone and Deadpool had a previous relationship, and so that's reflected in here. Even though this is the Aconite books are kind of their own little world. They're not the Marvel 616 comic book world, because there are slight differences, especially with zombies. But this isn't the actual comic book Marvel zombie universe as well. It's its own nice little pocket thing. There is, again, not a spoiler. I'm going to claim not a spoiler because it's on the back cover. Part of this solution that Zelma and her group come up with. One of the solutions involves time travel. And so we get a lot of what I feel are very cool cameos from different characters in different times, especially towards the end. There's what I think is just a fantastic set of cameos. I like that Rockwell doesn't always just straight up tell you who the zombie characters are, as Zelma and Nico and Elsa and Deadpool are fighting off zombies. Like Zelma might recognize, oh wait, what's that blue and green costume? That person looks familiar, and sometimes it'll eventually say, oh, that's so and so. But sometimes we just get little hints at who it might be. I actually had to look up a couple of people while I was reading it. But I like that. I like that it's just not complete name dropping, which it could have been, especially considering this is, a global pandemic, excuse me, with so many characters affected. For those who aren't that familiar with Marvel Zombies, one of the things about this particular zombie virus is when a zombie eats somebody, they regain their faculties. So one of the things I liked about like the initial Marvel Zombies miniseries was Spider-Man got infected, and the hunger builds and builds and builds until there's basically nothing they can do but eat. And Spider-Man, Peter Parker, ended up killing and eating Mary Jane and Aunt May. And so every time he eats and regains, and of course by eating I mean eating humans, every time he eats and regains his faculties, he's just crushed by the guilt of having eaten Mary Jane and Aunt May. But then the hunger gets to be too much, and he'll go out and eat somebody else, and then his faculties return. But what this also means is that the zombie heroes and villains can think once they've eaten. So it's not just constant mindless zombies. They are mindless when the hunger takes over, but not mindless once they've eaten. But the hunger's going to come back, and some of them don't care that they're zombies. Anyway, so that's sort of reflected in the book. I guess that was the point of me talking about all that. Especially with Doctor Strange at the beginning. He mentions, we have to do such and such before I lose my mind again. So this is a very well written, very exciting, very fun superhero zombie novel. If you're a fan of Marvel Zombies, I think you're going to dig this. If you're a fan of just Marvel characters, there's some great cameos and things. And if you're a fan of the horror and the magic using characters, I think you're going to enjoy this. As I said, I gave it a 4 out of 5. I really, really liked it. I'd love to see Aconite do more horror stuff. They have their Heroine series, which features the female characters. The Untold series, which features villains. The Tales of Asgard, which features, Tales of Asgard. And then there's 2 different X-Men, School of X, and something else that I don't recall, that, of course, feature mutants. Let me see if I can read this. Xavier's Institute. So you have Xavier's Institute and School of X. I believe that's what that says. So you got a bunch of different mutant stuff. Then there's the Crisis Protocol, which are books based on the miniatures game. And now there's some other sort of odds and ends. And I'd love to see more monstrous stuff. I really like the Untold because it focuses on villains. So focusing on the horror corner of the Marvel Universe would be really cool. So Aconite, if you're listening, let's get some more horror stuff. Let's see some Werewolf by Night and Morbius and Man-Thing and The Mummy and the Howling Commandos. Oh, Howling Commandos with the monster group of Howling Commandos. That would be fantastic. But there you have it. Marvel Zombies: The Hunger. A well-written, fun Marvel horror novel by Marsheila Rockwell from Aconite Press. 4 out of 5 stars. So, my question for this video, are you familiar with the Marvel Zombies, and what are your thoughts on them? I am obviously a fan. Got the giant t-shirt quilt. Pardon me. I've read, as I said, about 90% of the comics. I was so excited for this novel. Very, very excited. Read it as soon as I got it. I finished what I was reading and jumped right into this. I have the Marvel Zombies Zombicide game. It's a lot of fun. You get to play as zombie heroes. I mean, zombie superhero characters. You're not really heroes. You're eating people. So yes, I am a fan. I used to have a bunch of the Marvel Zombies action figures, and they even had they weren't Legos. They were the little Lego knockoffs. But had little figures that were the zombies, Marvel Zombies. Yeah, you could say I'm a fan. But what about you? Are you familiar with this property? Have you read any of the comics? Did you watch the Disney Plus? The What If series had a Marvel Zombies episode. What do you think? And if you're not familiar with it, does it sound like something that would interest you? Let's talk Marvel Zombies in the comments below. And if you have any comments, questions, or corrections, please put those in the comments below. Comments are open for spoilers. Just post a spoiler warning. We try to be polite here at the Low Budget Review Show. Please like, share, and subscribe, all the usual YouTube stuff. And if you'd care to follow me on other social media, my Twitter is @Ronan5757. My Instagram, where I post pictures of books, comic books, board games, and fuzzy animals, is EricSmith5757. That's Eric with a K, ERIKSMITH5757. And if you're on Blue Sky, I am @ELSmith. That's all I've got. This has been the Low Budget Review Show. I have been Eric Smith, and until next time, read more books.